Hello everyone, thanks for tuning in today's second video. So we're going to look at the next 40 days with the Beijing Climate Centre. See what the model is showing, taking us into the middle part of August. Can you believe? As ever with these long range updates, of course, they really are just for fun, just a heads up for what model is shown. It's highly experimental with pushing the envelope with technology. But it's always interesting to see what these long-range models for Beijing Climate Centre, the CFS-V2, and also the JMA. It's always interesting to see what they're showing. And that's what we're going to do for today's second video. Now, I've already done the 5-day forecast, and you can find the video of that on the homepage. Just scroll down a little bit, and it'll be there on the homepage underneath the link ads. There's also the written version. You can get to that via the buttons at the top of the pages here at Gazovitz. So before I get on with the Beijing Climate Centre update, just to say about the charity event that we are running. I'm sure you know all about it by now. So we're raising money for the Warwickshire and Northamptonshire Air Ambulance. We're going to be running this throughout July. We only started on Monday. We're already nearly up to £300, £295. I think just had a donation from Jack, so thanks very much to Jack for donating to us. And that's lifted up to 295, hoping to increase that more, of course, over the coming few days up towards the end of the month. So you want to donate to this, well, there's going to be a link to our Just Giving page in the description box at YouTube. There's also links throughout the Gazovitz website. So you just click on the links, go through to Just Giving, and there you press the donate button, and you'll be able to donate very, very easily to our charity event. And a big thank you to everybody that's donated so far. If you haven't donated yet and you want to donate, it's completely secure. Every last penny that you donate is sent on to the charity via Just Giving, so it's an excellent way of raising money and funds for the charity. The air ambulance relies totally on charitable donations. They do not receive any money from the National Health Service or the government. A lot of people think they do receive money from the National Health Service and the government. They don't. They're a charitable organisation that relies entirely from your donations. And everything from the helicopter itself right way down to the smallest plasters and bandages all has to be paid for via charitable donations. So if you enjoy what we do at Gazovitz, if you like our videos, if you like our written posts and forecasts, it's all completely free of charge, of course, at the website. Just ask that you make a little bit of a contribution to the charity, and thanks so much to everybody for doing that. You can also text your charity donation, I should just mention that, by your text messages. So all you have to do with that is put our code in, which is GWVS77, the amount you would like to donate, so say £1 or £2, £5, £10, whatever, and then text that to 770, and that's another way that you can donate to this excellent charity. Right, let's get on with the video. Thanks very much to everybody for doing that. So we're going to start off with the 500 millibar height anomalies from the Beijing Climate Centre, and then we'll have a look at the temperature anomalies, and then we'll have a look at the precipitation anomalies as well. So let's start off with the 500 millibar heights for the next 10-day periods. These are always broken down into 10-day periods. So the first 10 days takes us from the 6th through to the 15th of July. Blue extrapolates to low pressure, and orange, red with brighter colours extrapolates to high pressure. So for the coming 10 days, we've got low pressure to the north and west of the country. You've got a ridge down to the south, and the jet stream is doing something like that. So that looks pretty unsettled, actually. Although we have got this ridge down to the south, it's really the Atlantic that's holding sway here, and there will be bands of rain coming in. Now, southern parts of the country close to this area of above average heights would be drier, but I think all places, because it's a big ridge actually that's sitting to the northwest, certainly for the time of year anyway. This is a very extensive trough, I should say. This is a big trough for the time of year to the north and west. So although we have got that little bit of a ridge down to the south, I think it's unsettled really. It's that trough that is dominating the weather. Now, this really goes on into the next 10-day period. This takes us from the 16th through 25th of July. What happens though is that the trough is a little bit less extensive, if you like, so it is weakening a bit. The ridge is still more or less in the same position to the south, so we're still probably bringing the jet stream through. It's just that with the trough weakening a bit, I think there's more of a prospect for somewhat drier and warmer conditions in this 10 days, but don't necessarily be thinking this is a very settled, warm and dry period, because it almost certainly isn't. It's still generally Atlantic based. We're still more or less bringing the jet stream through. The next 10-day period, this goes from the 26th of July through to the 4th of August. It all looks a bit odd, this one, but it looks like we're building up some above average heights around Greenland. Now, that's not normally a very good sign at all in the summer, because although it is very faint and it's hard to make it out, there is actually a trough sitting underneath that ridge over top of the UK. So whilst the colours aren't really that intense, it doesn't look all that dramatic, that could be pretty grim actually, because that's hinting at northern blocking. It's trying to stick a trough up right over the top of the UK, and I think that could be pretty cool and very unsettled conditions actually. We will have a look at the temperature precipitation anomalies that go with that, but those sort of charts when they start to appear, I do kind of begin to fear the worst a little bit. We go through the next 10 days. The final 10 days is day 31 to 40. It takes us from the 5th through to the 14th of August, so up to the middle of the month. And it still doesn't look great, really. Below average heights generally to the east and northeast of us. A ridge is a long way away in the central part of the Atlantic. I think the jet stream is probably doing something a bit like that. So we're probably still placed on the cool side of the jet, and we could be quite unsettled as well. It probably isn't as bad as that first 10 days. But even so, it doesn't look great, really, I don't think, that, to the middle part of August. Let's have a look at the temperature anomalies then. So starting with the first 10 days, this is the 6th through to the 15th of July. Generally coming out warmer than average, above average temperatures for the coming 10-day period. So that looks okay. It is unsettled, but the temperatures look like they're holding up reasonably well. The next 10-day period goes from the 16th through the 25th of July. That one also looks warmer than average. So temperatures are holding up. Although the pattern is unsettled, temperatures don't look too bad. Now, I was fearing the worst for that period going into the start of August. But actually, the model is still keeping temperatures reasonably warm there. So it looks like temperatures are doing okay, really, throughout this period. And then the final 10 days, from the 5th through to the 14th of August, days 31 to 40, that one also coming out with warm and average temperatures. So if this is right, the coming 40 days looks quite warm. Temperature's going to be holding up reasonably well. I can't really understand why it's doing that, based on the pattern that we see there for those final 10-day periods in August. To me, it looks like it should be really quite cool, but the model is suggesting that temperatures hold up quite well. Let's have a look at precipitation, and the coming 10-day period, well, that looks very significantly wetter than average across most parts of the country, particularly so in the north and west, but all places generally coming out with above average rainfall. That goes on into the next 10 days as well, so this takes us from the 16th to 25th of July, also looking wetter than average. The next 10-day period, now this is what I would expect to see for this 10-day period, because we've got the ridge over Greenland and placing a trough over the top of the UK. So that also looks significantly wetter than average. Notice that Greenland and Iceland, this sort of area up here, coming out drier than average. That's because there's a ridge sitting there. The trough is underneath it. You would expect that to be wet, but I would have thought that would also be quite cool as well. So I'm not sure why the temperature anomaly is so high. And then the final 10-day period going from the 5th through to the 14th of August. That one still looking wetter than average, but not as bad. And the reason that the trough is generally being shunted off to the east of us a little bit, so it allows the rainfall just to ease off a bit. But overall, it does look quite a wet period. So if we take the model at face value and don't do any sort of interpretation, it looks like we're in for quite a wet but warm 40 days coming up. Now that makes sense for the next couple of weeks. So the first sort of 20-day period, day 1 through 10, and then 11 to 20. That sort of makes sense because it's generally quite Atlantic based. So I'd expect temperatures to hold up reasonably well through that period, but with above average rainfall. I'm not sure about when we get into August though, because the model is placing a ridge over Greenland and a trough underneath it, and that would in theory be quite a coolish pattern. So I would suspect that we go from relatively warm and unsettled through July into something, although the model doesn't show this, into something rather cooler and still very unsettled as we go through into August. The upshot is it doesn't look great whichever way you cut this. It looks like unsettled conditions will be going on through the rest of July and continuing into August as well. Temperatures might hold up all right, but overall it doesn't look like being a classic summer at this point. Of course, we're getting well on into the summer now, but the model might be wrong. Let's say that, because it's all experimental and these long-range models are highly unreliable at the best of times. It's just a heads up what it's showing today. We'll do it again next Wednesday when it could well look significantly different. But unsettled, that's really the message going into August with the Beijing Climate Centre. Right, that's all for now. Don't forget to donate to the Air Ambulance if you haven't already done so. And check out 5 Day Forecast if you've not done that yet either. But that's all for now, and thanks for watching.